Welcome everybody to Mud Flood was Armageddon. Mud Flood was Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. Good morning, RJ. How's it going, man? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, good morning. Anyhow, before I dropped the granddaughters off, I was showing the one that was my one granddaughter what was in that care package I received yesterday. And that's when I realized this world clock is not a flat map, or it's not
It
a
sure
flat
is
earth.
not.
I just realized it.
Well, you got to
Oh well.
change it. Change its
Yeah,
name.
well.
We got an
Well,
echo
it's a
going
it's a
there,
world
RJ.
clock. It's a world clock, and it's got all the how it's figured out. But anyhow,
Anywho,
yeah, I was so. I guess I was expecting something that I would,
well, they're
a
not spelling it.
preconceived idea, and I was wrong.
Hey, let's get into a little bit of flat Earth stuff here. Maybe I wonder if I could just ask you to go ahead and reset your screen yard, and I'll bring you back in because, well, did the echo go away right when I? Well, we
I
had
don't
an
know.
echo and now we don't. So I just want to go. Let's talk about some of this. Is it flat? It should be a flat Earth world map. When I'm going to send my friend a map, it should be flat.
Well, it's flat in the sense that, yeah, it's not, yeah, it's not like this, it's flat, but it's not flat.
No,
It's
it's
not
not. It
flat Earth.
doesn't talk about the true Earth. Nobody does. We're not going to get it from them. We got to get it. How do you say this word? Oh munana, oh mau mau, boom bop a mau mau, giddy up.
What nationality is it? Who
English.
knows? Is it?
Well, it's the first interstellar object detected passing through the solar system. I remember when this happened, and I
Uh,
was telling people all about it, and it was like you could see it. There's a moon up there right now that is one of these interstellar objects that they're not talking about. And it's in our orbit for a month and a half, and I don't have time to look it up. So the other one fell into my lap.
or orbit? Huh?
Eh?
I
Hey,
thought we were.
everybody,
I think I'm stationary,
now
but
we can
whatever.
learn how to pronounce this.
It was unquestionably the primary article that visited our region in the Close-by Planet bunch from outside the Close-by Planet bunch in the colossal extent of the universe.
Shoot.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, it was. And I'm afraid I better show my little thing here because
Yeah,
I'm using somebody
yeah,
else's video, and
yeah.
and we have to
Sooner
learn
or
about
later.
the Omanamau because the Omanamau is like the first in it's RJ. This could very well be phone ET phoning home in their crazy world because they can say whatever they want and they're taken serious.
And they'll say, "Hey, how are
Privileged
ya?
insights
Hey, how are ya?"
anyway, not numerous in satisfaction, the imaginative psyche differ like Oumuamua, the puzzling interstellar visitor that has space specialists everywhere on the planet scratching their heads in bewilderment. This
Mm.
glorious stray has
You
conflicted.
remember when all those people were scratching their head in bewilderment and saying, "Hey, look at the sky, everybody. We can't figure it out.
And
It's Omaruma Muma."
he said, "Everyone."
Everyone.
See, I don't recall doing that, so I must have been.
Well,
I would be
I
the.
did. I was scratching my head. I was calling my daughter Shelby. I
Yeah,
was saying,
I
like,
might have been
"Honey,
scratching something, but it
look
wasn't
at
my
that
head.
moon." And I thought everybody else was too. I'm shocked.
Okay, yeah.
Clarifications at each turn. Its remarkable shape, its odd speed increase, and its apparently unpredictable approach to acting have incited wild speculations
Apparently.
and warmed banter inside the scholastic local area and beyond. What privileged insights does Oumuamua hold, and what
That's like the fifth different way that
To eternity and beyond.
the
Yeah.
closed caption has spelled it like 5 different ways so far. It's like a jumble of vowels is the name of this moon that just shows up at varying speeds. If it was those guys on the TV like Will Smith and the other
I
guys,
gotta take this.
everybody knows that they'd be saying, this is an anomaly. It's slowing down almost as if it's a spaceship. And then it would be a spaceship. Here you go. Uramau.
Does its approach toward Earth suggest for the fate of humanity? Go along with us as we set out on a phenomenal excursion to unwind the insider facts of
Forest.
Oumuamua and its
Ooh.
amazing approach toward Earth.
Ooh.
The story of Oumuamua started on a significant day, October 19th, 2017,
There
which
you
marked an
go.
exhilarating moment for those
I remember being exhilarated. I was waiting for it. I was new to the Stones crying out. There was, only been in the flat earth for a couple of years, and it was exciting. A new moon was coming.
who appreciate looking up at the evening sky. In the locations of Hawaii, there's an enormous observational instrument known as the Pan-STARRS All-Sky Survey Telescope and Fast Response
Yeah,
System.
you see that in the movies all the time. It's the SETI or something. It's what they're, oh yeah, they're getting paid to sit up there and bounce radio waves off of the dome and pretend they're waiting for UFOs, and maybe they'll see them someday. They do in the movies all the time. It's always a surprise to them.
Its fundamental occupation is to examine
Yeah. Let's get into some more of the details about this thing here. That's what they want to know.
this strange blend of traits made Oumuamua captivating and puzzling. A few researchers consider Oumuamua as a sort of inconspicuous comet, interesting from the ones they're used to. They propose that perhaps it's emitting only a smidgen of gas or dust, excessive.
That's the part right there. I gotta say, I think I hear RJ breaking up on his phone call, and if he comes back, I want to make sure he hears that part, because that's
Hey, I'm back now. Sorry about the interruption. But,
yeah, it's like the Vatican telescope Lucifer. Saw your video yesterday, Ella Rose, and appreciate it. I think I left a like. Want everybody to go there and check it out. RJ, I saved the spot on the video for you, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's very informative.
you got to hear this. I'm even going to put the closed caption on. Emitting only a smidgen of gas or dust is how they get this thing to move around. It's kind of like a comet, is what they settled on explaining, except it's not visible. And the comet gas, I guess, it farts and that pushes it forward in space. It's just emitting gas somehow. They got
Well,
it
how
all.
did well,
Whatever your question is,
that's
I
a-
don't know.
well, yeah, being that it's in a vacuum
Yep.
and it's squeezing out, like you say, a little.
Dragging its tail, and it dragging its tail is actually propelling it.
Whatever.
Dragging the line.
Confused.
That's how they explain
Oumuamua
it.
appeared to act like a comet at times, but looked more like a space rock at others.
Huh.
This strange blend of traits made Oumuamua captivating and puzzling.
Mm-hmm.
A few researchers consider Oumuamua as a sort of inconspicuous comet, interesting from the ones they're used to. They propose that perhaps it's emitting only a smidgen of gas or dust, excessively little for their telescopes to recognize. This almost imperceptible puffing could be the explanation Oumuamua is accelerating as it leaves the planetary group. If this is true,
That's a big if to me. Because it's like they charted it speeding up and slowing down as it entered it in their world, orbited the Earth, and then it now is accelerating as it leaves. It says, "Oh, maybe it just studied us." Do you believe that?
Well, I believe they said that, but I mean, knowing what God has revealed, the water, the luminaries that are in the firmament, it's I say it's different from what how they're explaining it.
I think they're
Certainly,
trying to
but
hypnotize me with this picture somehow
yeah,
with their
baffle you with bullshit and hypnotize you with the rest.
Oumuamua would be a totally different sort of comet, not fitting the ordinary picture they have of them, large, bright, with a long tail. On the other hand, there's a more stunning thought tossed into the mix by
Oh,
Avi Loeb, a Harvard professor.
uh-oh. You know, Harvard professors, they get caught cheating and then they get fired.
Huh? He's
Yeah.
pitching a softball. What?
I think they're all just pitching BS, you know, and then they get a job and they go like, "Yay, I'm gonna keep lying to
Yeah,
everybody as much as I can to get this
yeah,
money."
they'll pitch it to anyone willing to
A
catch
really
it. Yeah.
shocking idea that sounds
Here's
like
the
something out
shocking
of a sci-fi
idea.
story. He suggests that perhaps Oumuamua is not a natural object like a comet or space rock at all. He envisions it very well maybe a piece of very advanced technology.
Well,
Oh, man. How you know,
well,
RJ?
I like how they go to the animated screens, the detail.
So it's spying
The
on us,
endless
man, like
mysteries
your
in space.
phone. Oh, not your
Many
phone, my phone.
researchers continue focusing on more conventional hypotheses.
Focus,
Still, the
focus.
ongoing discussion surrounding Oumuamua highlights the vast secrets and potential revelations awaiting us beyond Earth.
Alright. So, anyway, conveniently, there's no pronunciation like in every other Wikipedia page. It's like, "This is the word," you know, it's a foreign language, we'll pronounce it for you, even here's its etymology a
So
lot of times.
this is a recent page, or do they have their stuff dated when it was most recently updated? Or
Well, you can always find out.
I mean,
I'm not logged
is it
into to Change right now or anything, but where is
the date the article was most recently edited? Or
yeah. You know, as soon as they spotted it, like in 2017 or 2019, they
oh,
decided they would, looks like somebody decided to put it on the 12th of March, 2019. Somebody got something
okay,
from, part of the sky was added to it as recently as January 19th.
okay,
Here's what they got so far. Uh, Oumuamua is the first interstellar object detected passing through the solar system. Formerly, it was designated the One Eye 2017 UI. Bob Work spotted it and said, "Hey, good thing I spotted it when it was 33 million kilometers away." I mean, I'd be disappointed if he spotted it once 1 kilometer less, you know, because the
yeah,
33 million has a good
33.
ring to it instead of 32 million
So
nine
that
hundred
would
ninety nine.
represent what, 25% or less of the alleged miles between the planet Earth and the center of our solar system sun.
Yeah, the center
Uh,
of your solar system, son, your pineal gland in between your eyes that leads down to your 33 spines, vertebrae, I mean.
okay.
He's, hey, outgassing non-gravitational acceleration. That's what Umamau likes to exhibit when
Oh,
it's
kind of like the dragonfly that way.
when it's outgassing to push itself faster away. It's like I saw Earth and I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Hyperbolic trajectory. You know, it caused it to pop in here, spin around a little bit, and then choom,
See ya.
choom. They don't want to be ya. That's cute. this is the apparent trajectory. I can't get enough of it
Yeah,
because look how it came in just
like a
spinning, spinning,
vortex or
spinning like a spinning top. Hey, they got it charted out here, the days.
uh,
I was waiting for it, man. I couldn't wait. And they're like, why is it got to swing way out here and then swing back, man? I just want it to come here and circle the earth. And so it did for a little while. And it was like the earth had two moons for a little while. That's in the vernacular of the common people today. It's badass. It's just badass. Little another view of it there. Zippity a doo dah. We missed it. I can barely remember what it looked like, but oh, it's coming back to me. Man, it was cool. It was right there next to the earth.
it was a close one.
I don't know what this means. It's fun. We learned all about it today. Ooh, the Battle of Athens is cool. I have to switch to a college text. Am I still sharing the screen?
It appears as though you are correct. Yeah, yes, you
Okay.
are.
I wrote a paper. This is my midterm, but that's not what I want to show you. Oh, here it is. This is my assignment this morning. So I was reading this because I was going to show you about the new moon. And I'm studying Tacitus. He's the historian for Titus, right? The guy that,
Well,
supposedly
when you
destroyed
say
the temple in 70 AD. He was his historian.
when
I
you
just
say the new moon, you're talking the new moon in our monthly cycle, or are you
no,
talking like
That new we don't know where Umau went after it left, but that was our moon for a while, baby.
okay, that's
I'm not. I'm.
some terms are confusing. And that's
I was reading this. Read along with me. Their strength is in their infantry. Some tribes also fight from chariots. Sounds like the Bible. Their nobleman drives his dependents fight in his defense. They make him fight. The knights and the picture. You have to fight for me because I'm your feudal lord. Once they owed obedience to kings. Now they are distracted between the warring factions of rival chiefs. Indeed, nothing has helped us more in fighting against their very powerful nations than their inability to cooperate. It is but seldom that 2 or 3 states unite to repel a common danger. Thus, fighting in separate groups, all are conquered. The climate is wretched with its frequent rains and mists, but there is no extreme cold. Their day is longer than in our part of the world. Go back to the top. The nights are light, and in the extreme north, so short that evening and morning twilight are scarcely distinguishable if no clouds block the view. The sun's glow, it is said, can be seen all night long. It does not set and rise, but simply passes along the horizon. The reason must be that the flat extremities of the earth cast low shadows and do not raise the darkness to any height. Night therefore fails to reach the sky and its stars. That sounds pretty flat earthy to me. RJ?
yeah.
I think it's cool that when the Lord gives me assignments, and I, believe it or not, I actually read them, and sometimes, everything is for the Lord to be like, well, that's why you're here, you big dummy, you
To
know,
learn, to
yeah,
learn.
yeah, keep learning and keep teaching and go like I'm supposed to be like not figuratively, not literally. Yes, figuratively. standing on a wall going, "Fire, fire, your house is on fire and your pants are on fire." I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to keep it short. I got such a busy day, but I don't want to fail to mention that there was something I learned about today called the secular games, not the Olympics. Maybe it was the Olympics, same name. I don't know. Ancient Roman religious celebration involving sacrifices, theatrical performances, and public nudity. It was held irregularly. That's not the every 4 year thing. So this has got to be something different, right? 3 days and nights to mark the end of various eras. All right. Okay. I just learned about it, so I don't know much about it. The celebration of the games under the Roman Republic are poorly documented. The Roman Republic. It's the era of
Yeah, this could be one of these stories they insert to the
yeah,
the
because it's
ad
the
of,
ending. The Roman
you know,
kingdom ended in 27 BC. That's just like suspiciously. Once again, things got all messed up when Jesus was on the scene, and people.
Yeah.
It's not the Kabbalah. The Bible teaches a lot of that sacred geometry and stuff, but it emphasizes the fact that he walked the earth, he bled and died, he rose again. It's real, and it's all coming back to that time.
yeah, I can envision some professor somewhere reciting this stuff with extreme enthusiasm, no doubt.
Yeah, this is something there interesting. Roman goddesses of the under night. So that's who they were praying to. Where they came up with that. I think that might have just been their gods of that area. Well, we got that going, so we'll look into that later. Doggone, if even I can't just get sucked into the dumbest shit. Is this stupid? Or
Did
is this
somebody get their I dotted there? What
It
was
still amazes me
uh,
how many people don't know that the Second Amendment has nothing to do with hunting. Truth be told, the Second Amendment was a low-key threat to not only any foreign government that wanted to get froggy and try to oppress the American people, it was also a threat to our own government. In short, the Second Amendment is telling the government, the people who elected you to represent them have guns and a bunch of other arms. Don't bother trying to take them either, because they'll need them in case you decide to get a little froggy also.
he said it's getting froggy. What's he talking about?
maybe hopping around, but
No, but I mean with all that gun stuff, because I'm kind of like a pacifist, but I feel comfortable knowing that my friends have guns.
and they ought to have the decision, have that, if that's what they want, fine. If they're not interested, that's probably not advised, but that's their choice, to make that decision
Yeah,
or
kind of
not,
expensive, yeah. And they're heavy and expensive.
Froggy, Denley.
That's actually longer than what the Second Amendment said, but you get the point. Anytime 2A advocates let it be known that the Second Amendment isn't about hunting, but about protecting the people's power to check a tyrannical government, anti-2A politicians like Joe Biden dismiss this idea and say goofy shit like this.
I might add, the Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own.
Yeah,
You couldn't
you know what? Yeah, it will. Yeah, people, yeah, you can only own a gun if
That's a
you
goofy statement. Yeah.
if you have life, liberty, and property.
So how'd the fact checkers do with that short paragraph or
They
whatever?
don't even they're the problem. What is you ever hear about this?
A powerful counterpoint to this, and it's called the Battle of Athens. A true story about one of the wildest showdowns in American history. This battle was part of a broader cross-racial rebellion against corrupt and anti-democratic government antics across the country.
I was trying to stop the picture right to show a bunch of honkies, and it's like I was going to go look at those honkies, but it
Yeah, you
at the
remember when
moment- The moment's gone. It won't work.
Yeah, I'm sure you recall that event in high school when they reviewed that, and
When they taught about it, right?
yeah.
No, as a matter of fact, now that you mention it, I don't remember ever hearing about
story,
it.
and many have forgotten it. But this epic battle demonstrates clear as day
It's not
what
that I haven't forgotten, mister. Nobody ever told me.
Because it didn't happen.
movement is about. So now allow me to paint this picture.
Do it.
See,
As
World
far
War
as
II
reviewing it.
ends, and millions of service members come home ready to kick back, rebuild, and bask in some well-earned peace. But
What a
not the
basket of
veterans of
well-earned
Athens,
peace.
Tennessee.
Yeah, the survivors. Yeah.
Right into a real-life episode of The Twilight Zone, where their own town is under the
What I watched after we got done talking last night. I thought it was cool.
iron-fisted rule of Paul Cantrell
Oh, that's
and
a
his
cool
merry
truck,
band of
man.
corrupt homies. Instead of ticker tape parades and apple pie, these heroes return to
Paul
voter suppression,
Cantrell.
intimidation, and a local government that treats the law like it's a set of vague suggestions. Cantrell's regime runs Athens like their
Hey.
personal fiefdom, crushing
Like
any
looking in a
dissent
mirror.
and rigging elections like it's their favorite pastime. For these veterans, the war might have ended over
Rigging elections.
battle for justice and democracy.
That's a nice. You think that's an AI picture, or that town really had this statue? This all that
Well, if this is actual, or is this a film set?
AI? Yeah. Man,
Some nice old rides in there.
yeah, we can't go back and live that time. We have to. You have to keep living the life that you're born into. That's just.
You have to go
part of the-
ahead forward.
That's the way the rules work here.
Democracy was just getting started on their home turf. Since 1936, Cantrell had turned the sheriff's job into a cash cow, arresting people left and right just to make a buck. They'd even stop buses and yank off passengers and fine them for imaginary drunkenness. When World War II took
Damn.
most of the town's young men away, they scraped the bottom of the barrel for deputies, hiring ex-cons and other unsavory characters. Cantrell
Man, that sounds like today.
Cantrell's corruption was limitless, from running gambling dens to shaking down roadhouses.
Sounds like a good movie plot, you know, as far as
Right. So let's see what. Let's skip ahead.
With about 10% of McMinn County's population being made up of returning veterans, these vets form the GI Nonpartisan League, a group of dedicated to kicking out Cantrell and his cronies. Knox Henry, a decorated veteran of the North African Campaign, emerged as their candidate for sheriff. Their campaign slogan, "Your vote will be counted as cast." But of course, the dirty tactics continue.
RJ, didn't they promise you that in 2020? I told you your vote was not going to count, and you mailed it in anyway. And it didn't count. Or that it was subtracted or added. I saw those pictures of those people feeding those
Yeah.
stacks of votes into the machines over and over again. Liberal people were losing their mind.
Yeah, I went with the third party, the Constitution Party. That's what I do, you know.
Yeah, we'll let you off the hook then on that one.
Whenever a veteran went to register to vote, the registration book was conveniently missing. Veterans were also arrested, and their poll tax receipts were confiscated, thus making them ineligible to vote. Come election day, corruption didn't just loom. It threw a full-blown block party. Deputies
Dominated.
voters at the polls.
Huh?
Yeah, it didn't loom. I say it dominated.
Anyway, they got into a real fight.
Making sure everyone knew Big Brother was watching.
Knockdown Drago.
The ultimate tragedy was an African-American man by the name of Tom Gillespie, a man just trying to exercise his right to vote, who was gunned down by a deputy for daring to support the veterans. And to add insult to injury, the ballot boxes of those who managed to vote were whisked away to the local jail. But these veterans weren't about to let their hard-won democracy be hijacked. They grabbed their guns and said, "Not today, Cantrell." And so began the Battle of Athens. The armed vets headed to the county jail where the ballot boxes were stashed.
Wait, and we're not endorsing anybody for violence. We're not those people that are trying to whip you up into a frenzy where the cops will wave you in, you know, so that you get killed. We think this is a setup. I do anyway.
But it could be an effective way of, yeah.
Well, but I'm
Possible.
warning people is simply
Yeah.
because this may have worked back
Don't
then.
try this at home. This could
Do
be
not.
dangerous.
Do not, and don't go to the protest. That's where the cops are setting people up.
Cantrell and his minions
Or the
barricaded themselves
CIA
in
or
But
Collin
this
Jail with
probably
their ill-gotten
really
ballots,
happened.
hoping to rid the election in peace. But peace was the last thing on the menu. Under the cloak of darkness, the veterans surrounded the jail, demanding a fair count of the votes. However, someone in White's crew fired the first shot, and soon a symphony of gunfire erupted. The jailhouse rocked under the barrage, but Cantrell's goons, stubborn as mules, refused to budge. Hours ticked by. The veterans, running low on options, whipped up Molotov cocktails, but the jail was fireproof.
Yeah, that's unusual.
The
Because
jail
you
was
always hear,
fireproof?
you hear about those type of buildings burning to the ground all the time.
Well, yeah.
Burning and then blowing up because of the heat that it causes. I'm surprised they couldn't
The
burn that.
meltology.
Yeah, it's a quirk.
Undeterred, they grabbed some dynamite. As they prepared to blow Cantrell to Kingdom Come, an ambulance screeched to the scene, and Cantrell and Mansfield bolted out of the town in the ambulance like the cowards they were. Now, with the Fugazi Big Bad Wolves out of the picture, the veterans let loose with their dynamite, shaking the jail and sending parked cars flying.
And one more Star Fort old building left in ruins with a plausible
As the parade
story,
leaves
a
town.
plausible story. Amen. Amen. We'll be talking about it. Hey, we got a Bible verse. A recommended Bible verse. Let's look it up. Psalm 127. That's in the Old Testament, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, middle of the Bible, actually. Ish.
It's pretty close. I used to know a verse in Psalm 119 that was the actual middle, but I don't anymore. And it's too long to just guess because you'll get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. What verse was it?
3 to 5. 3, 4, 5.
Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. Well, Sergio, you're going to be adding one more heritage to the Lord here pretty soon. The fruit of the womb, a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man I am King Jamesing it. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate. So there's another
Strength.
way.
Strength with numbers.
If you have enemies, you don't always have to kill them. Sometimes you can go like, look, I know we disagree, and here's what we gotta do. Verse 1 and 2. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep, and sweet is the sleep of the working man. So let's see. Let's talk about this afternoon. What's your schedule, RJ? And because mine, I'm free.
I picked
all
the
afternoon.
granddaughters up from school at 3 my time, 2 o'clock your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lord is going to provide something by 1 o'clock, and we'll be back on, Lord willing, to talk about it. And then I'm going to be like that guy. I am going to be selling it. I'm going to be selling that if the gospel smells like the breath of life to you, I'll be asking things like, have you ever been down on your knees and confessed with your mouth what you now believe in your heart, that Jesus Christ is God? And that's important to me. So any
Emmanuel.
any
Yeah.
final words, brother?
Well, the weekend is just about here, and I don't know if you can hear the noise. They did the horizontal boring earlier in the week, but then when they drug that section through in front of my building here, underneath the state highway, they're dragging it from the north to the south, and their bore must have been next to some stone or some obstruction in the ground at whatever elevation, they are uh, below parallel with the grade, and they damaged it, and then they had to dig up a couple, cut it and drag, and it's a do-over. They get to start over. So yeah, the front in my building where they're busting up the asphalt and digging access holes, to perform this task, because it's all brand new mains. And then once the mains are in, then they're going to come from the main, do the laterals to the meters. Yeah. So they lost about a week.
If you see any rocks that, were deep, and they look like, wow, that rock had to be there for a long time, take a look at them, pull a few out. I might want to take
Yeah, I'm not, able to go really through their
Oh, okay.
spoil here. Get out of my way while I rifle through what you have in the front end loaded.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You got any of these rocks that you actually drilled through? We want them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a flat earth nation. Me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else unless that it's golden age past and the mud flood was Armageddon. We've already had the reaping and this is a big reset. Wow, that's a lot. But that's what we're saying. And we're never going to tell you anything else because we're trying to prove we have your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. These are all ways of saying goodbye. Aloha, arrivederci, ciao, sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, nakame. That's the newest one. Finland. Basically just saying